Hey guys, JawsTheSharkNews here, and today we're going to be doing yet another news video. Now this is another big one because, of course, every year around this time, Hasbro does their PulseCon things online. And yeah, so today is day one of it, and great news for us Transformers fans. The first panel they did was for Transformers at PulseCon because those Transformers I think next to the GI Joe or something. So hey, a big one for us. So and man, did they totally did not disappoint for the most part. It would have been nice to see some studio series, but they'll probably do that in a few months' time. But hey, I'm pleased with what we got right here. So, but what exactly was it? Well, this is some pretty big stuff right here. So we have our first look at the first wave of the 2024 Legacy line. That's right, 2024. That's literally in only like 3 months. Man, I'm getting old. But anyways, so but yeah, so they revealed the first wave of next year's Legacy figures. Because yep, that's right, Legacy is coming back for a third year. I mean that we already know that by now. There's listings. I think before 2022 ended, we already got 2024 listings. So yeah, so we've known Legacy will continue into this or would continue into next year thanks to listings. But yeah, so but we officially now have a full look at the entire wave and see the actual figures themselves. Now, a few days ago, they revealed the animated Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and but I didn't cover those because I knew that I just why not like just wait until the full post-con event because they did that as a little teaser. So yeah, let's get right into it. So because there's a lot right here. So yeah, starting off, they revealed the logo for the 40th anniversary of Transformers, and I gotta say, it looks really nice. I think it's even better than the Thrilling 30 one. And I say this because, well, I mean, first of all, that font for the 40 is like really cool. And what's really cool about it too, besides it being a bit of silver, is that the font kind of reminds me of the one that they used in R80 2001, the Unicron trilogy, and the 2003 Universe line. I think yeah, that's like one of my favorite Transformer fonts. It's not exactly that font, but it kind of reminds me of that, especially that four. But yeah, and I also love it because well, firstly you got little Optimus Prime silhouette on there in the zero, but you also got the years on there. You got 1984 to 2024. So yeah, 40 years. Wow. So that means that in a decade from now, Transformers will be 50 years old. Man, Transformers. To think that Transformers will be half a century old in only a decade, that's just frightening. but but yeah. Anyway, so starting off here, we got the packaging artwork here, the one they always use on the side, and yeah, I really like it. Got many different characters. A lot of them we'll see here in this video, but some they haven't revealed yet. But we do know that they are coming. So the second biggest one here is we got Magmatron, who for those who don't know, he was the main antagonist of the Beast Wars Neo anime, which was the sequel to Beast Wars 2, which in turn was the Japanese sequel to Beast Wars. Here in America, I guess Canada as well, because that's where it was made. There's Beast Machines, but then in Japan, they had Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo. But yeah, and then we got more characters, but the biggest character, who of course isn't in the center, but you can clearly see him on the right. That's right, folks. Yeah, you're not hallucinating. That right there is Tidal Wave. Finally, after years of people like, when we gonna get Tidal Wave, and even me like, yeah, when we gonna get Tidal Wave, like a new one? Well, it's finally gonna happen next year, and it seems very clear that. Well, I mean, he could be a commander class, but he could also be a Titan class because his size change was kind of varied throughout. But but I think they'll probably do Commander class. I think that's more likely because they probably want to save Titan class for another character that is even bigger. But oh man, I don't care if it's the Commander or Titan. I'm super hyped for Tidal Wave. That's definitely one like on my top three most hyped Transformer figures for 2024 now. But yeah. But anyways, so now for the figure reveals, we got the first one is Core Class Energon Megatron. So we're finally getting Energon characters in Legacy almost 2 years after it began. And perfect timing because next year is the 20th anniversary of Energon, so that's nice. He does look mostly good. He could use a bit more paint, especially around the chest, but it's a core class. It's a bit more of a budget figure, so I mean, I kind of way could forgive it. Now, if this was a Voyager and had the same amount of paint, then yeah, I'd definitely be ticked off. But it's a core class that's not as bothersome, but it'd still be nice to have a little bit more paint. Again, it's a sample copy. I mean, it's got the numbers on it, so but yeah. And I think there are higher quality images of these now. I think, but it's on social media. Like I don't think TFW has them up yet. Yeah, there's some of those product shots actually right there. Next up, we got Tasmanian Kid or Snarl. He was in Beast Wars 2, and I know nothing about this character. I just remember seeing him from the listings about almost a year ago, and then seeing him now in hand, and that's it. Despite me not knowing who this character is really, besides being from Beast Wars 2, I'd say he does look pretty neat. The alt mode kind of intrigues me. I don't know what that is, but hey, I probably will get it. I don't know. Yeah, I can't really say much else except it's a cool looking core class. But that's not the final core class figure we got. The next one we got here is Boulder Crash, I think. I think it is Boulder Crash. Let me double check. Yeah, Boulder Crash. So I believe it is a new character. He is a Junkion, or she. I'm not sure. It might be. I don't know. He appears to actually be a retool of Iguanus. Yeah, like I just noticed, that kind of looks a bit like that one. Yeah, cool little addition to the Junkions. I'd say the robot mode looks pretty nice, but the alt mode looks okay. I think they could have chosen something better than whatever that is. But yeah, I think that blade weapon looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for the core class. So next up, we got Igneous, I think. This one's a new character as well. Oh, Magneus, that's right. This is the first of those, like, rock-like Transformers that, technically they're not Transformers, because they literally describe them as they're not Transformers. They're empty souls, pretty much, which I think is a really cool concept. But despite them not being Transformers, they do transform, kinda. I mean, I'm not sure how it all works, but yeah, they do transform in alt mode, so... But yeah, so here's Boulder Clash, and I think he looks pretty nice. I love like that rock detail. The alt mode looks fantastic. I mean, you see on the back there, like on the roof of the car, that looks really nice. Definitely interesting concept. Definitely want to see more of these. Yeah, because a lot of these gimmicky Transformer things like they've done in the main lines haven't been like all interesting. Like the Fossilizers was a neat little thing. And then what they do for the first year Legacy, I think they're just like, I forgot. But this year they've done like the Junkions. I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, I didn't really care except for that that kind of Junkion dinosaur thing. That seems kind of cool. But besides that, all these random Junkion characters. But these like rock characters, I think, really intrigue me. Next up, we got Animated Bumblebee, and because obviously I didn't discuss about him or Prime yet, here he is. I'll talk about him right now. And I gotta say, he looks really nice. Really, really well done here. I mean, well, I can't really judge until I have the figure in hand, but from the looks of it, he looks awesome. I mean, I have Prowl. Prowl was done really well, and I'm expecting the same here for Bumblebee. Because first of all, the alt mode looks almost perfect. I guess he uses a little more paint areas, but that's animated Bumblebee's alt mode, all right. And I love, that he's got his old weapons and thrusters back from the cartoon. And the robot mode too, I really love. There's some little nitpicks I'm already, I kind of have. The least of them I'll talk about first. The feet. It'll be nice if he had his bumper feet. Uh, but he will. I mean, on the back of the figure, like the back around the heels, he does have the bumper. So in a way, I guess they couldn't have that make that happen with this design. But maybe they could have done a bit more. But it doesn't really bother me. The only two things that bother me are one, his shoulders. I mean, they don't look as bad here as they did in those leak photos. But I think they could have done those a little bit differently. And another one is his chest is fully clear plastic. It just painted over most of it. Yeah, get Hasbro to stop at the clear plastic. I mean, I haven't had a lot of issues. Like, I only had one problem. It was the Stu Series Dark and Moon Soundwave. The hinge broke on one of the forums for the Windows. But aside from that, I don't think I've had any issues. I mean, I think one of the tabs did break off for my Stu Series Bumblebee movie Cliffjumper. So yeah, but again, but mostly I've been fine with clear plastic. I just don't like how brittle it could be. At least it's not gold plastic. Gold plastic was the worst. But clear plastic is second worst, but it's just a few spaces down because it's not as brittle. It doesn't like break in packaging or anything. But yeah, overall, I really dig this Bumblebee. I cannot wait to own him. And another figure I can't wait to own is Chase here. I'll get a lot about Chase from Rescue Bots, and yeah, I absolutely love this. It's literally Rescue Bots Chase, but a bit more of a grown-up design almost. Instead of the chubby ones that they had on the show, which I adored. But it's kind of cool to have a bit more of a general Transformers look here, and it just looks awesome. I love that robot mode. And the alt mode too, it looks really nice. It kind of looks like a '60s Camaro almost, in some ways. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But yeah, overall, looks nice. Is there like a little bit of kibble in the back? Not sure how I feel about that yet, but we'll see. It doesn't look too bad. And yeah, really like it. Oh, and next up we got Cyberverse Windblade, also deluxe. And this one I really like too. The alt mode, the plane looks fine. I guess you could use a bit more paint. You can barely see the cockpit window. But aside from that, she looks nice. So the robot mode, I actually didn't think it looked this good. So again, it's supposed to be based on the Cyberverse version of Windblade, and it actually does look like Cyberverse Windblade quite a bit, just looking less cartoony. Because there's a lot I could tell that's definitely looks a lot like the Cyberverse one. The face a bit, definitely the knees, or knee pads, I should say. And I love that weapon, the sword one. I forgot what it's called. I think it's the Sword of Camnus. It was the planet she came from. Yeah, I really dig it. Can't wait to have her. Next up, we have Transformers Prime Thundertron. I believe he was one of the characters from the toy line. I don't think he ever appeared in the cartoon. I don't know anything about the character, but I will say this does look really cool. The robot mode, I definitely love. The alt mode looks fine, I guess. But the paint's cool. But that robot mode, I will say, looks nice. The face kind of reminds me of Age of Extinction Hound, actually. And yeah, not really much else to say there because I have no idea who the character is besides knowing that he was in the Prime line. And yeah, and next up we got the animated Optimus Prime, and I have to say this is definitely one of my this might be my favorite or maybe second favorite, or I'm not sure. This and another figure that we'll get into next is maybe my favorites from Wave 1 so far here. Because this Prime looks awesome. It's what the Prime figures in Legacy should have been. Just have I mean, just have like their main designs, but just kind of change the proportions a bit to fit in with the other figures. And this is a perfect example of that, I'd say. This, Prowl, and even Bumblebee, they all do that really nice. You just, oh yeah, he looks good. The Trek mode looks right. And the robot mode too. That's, you can still tell it's animated Optimus Prime. And yeah, uh, Derek J. White would definitely be proud. Rest in peace, Derek. By the way. I mean, maybe he wouldn't be. I don't know because it's not exactly how he designed them, but it's still Optimus Prime. I love like the chest too. Like it's exactly how it was on the cartoon. And yeah, and also note the back of the legs. They're not hollow. They're actually, they got like it filled out there. That looks cool. And yeah, so this is definitely one of the figures I'm definitely getting. Like, if I see it, I'm getting it. I'm not gonna wait on it. This is definitely one I'm gonna get. And I love the axe too. That looks amazing. And lastly, here we have Tigerhawk, and yeah, this is definitely one of my most highly anticipated figures for next year because I've been waiting such a long time for them to do a new Tigerhawk figure because he was definitely one of my favorite. Well, one of my favorite designs from the show, and the whole concept is cool too of merging Tigatron and Airazor together. And plus, we haven't gotten this figure. By the time this comes out, it'll been 25 years since the original one came out, and I just been wanting. I've been wanting a Tigerhawk figure since the early days of my channel. And keep in mind that was almost 7 years ago. So, yeah. And then the raw mode looks amazing. The alt mode too. Just overall, very very awesome. And lastly, they're doing a package refresh of Laser Optimus Prime, and now your figures will have windows again. So yay! No plastic though. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the reveals, and yeah, lots and lots of great stuff. Cannot wait for next year. It's gonna be a great one. So, but yeah, anyways, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share for more, and comment down below what you guys think of all this news. So, anyways, guys, as always, till all are one.